A very good afternoon to all of you who have connected and join us on this platform today. I am my apologies. A very good afternoon, and thank you to all of you who have joined us on this platform today. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Elsia Grandcourt, Regional Director for the Africa Department at the UNWTO, and I am very pleased to welcome you all to the awards ceremony of the UNWTO Inspiration Branding Africa Challenge. Immense thanks and appreciations to all the 10 finalists who responded to our call and for sharing with us their innovative and inspiring ideas for the challenge aimed at supporting all efforts to restart tourism in the continent, especially during these trying times that the tourism sector is going through due to the severe impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. I would like to thank all the speakers and panelists who are going to intervene during this session today, as well as all of you participants and delegates who have connected for this event. I just saw earlier a message from Honorable Najib Balala, Minister of Tourism and Wildlife of Kenya, who is also the chair of UNWTO Executive Council. Minister, thank you for joining us. I also understand that we have the newly appointed Minister of Culture, Handicraft and Tourism of Mali, Her Excellency Mrs. Kadiatu Konare. So Minister, welcome. Thank you, Excellencies, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for this important event. I want to acknowledge all representatives and private sector tourism stakeholders for your presence. I also understand that we have quite a number of CEOs of tourism boards from the Africa region, representatives of the AU, AUDA NEPAD, IFEMA, Casa Africa, even some airlines, and all the stakeholders who have taken time to join us here today on this session. Allow me also to acknowledge the critical role that CNN has played in this challenge, and today represented by Kathy Ibal, who is the Senior Vice President of CNN International Commercial, as well as John Malone, Global Creative Director and Director CNN Create, who will be joining us in the panel discussion later on. All our thanks and appreciation also to Anita Mendirata, who is the Special Advisor to the Secretary General, as she has worked tirelessly alongside us on this challenge. The global pandemic has deeply transformed and revolutionized the international economic scenario by putting forward new and unparalleled challenges to tackle with significant repercussions on the tourism and travel sector, which has nevertheless demonstrated its resilience as well as its flexible and dynamic nature to adapt to the new global context. Thus, it is now more than ever fundamental that we join our forces and we call concerted actions and efforts of mutual cooperation, as well as for the commitment and engagement of all countries in the continent to build and convey coherent, harmonized, and complementary messages to reposition Africa on the international tourism market as an attractive, competitive, and safe tourism destination. In this regard, advocating Brand Africa, one of the 10 key priorities of the UNWTO Agenda for Africa Tourism for Inclusive Growth strategy, is paramount to restore market confidence and also showcase the immense cultural, natural, and gastronomic heritage of the continent. To this end, our Secretary General has tasked both the Africa Department, as well as our colleagues from the Innovation, Education, and Investment Department, in launching this Inspiration Africa Branding Challenge with the purpose of identifying the most creative communication campaign to tell a positive story about the continent. Furthermore, the crisis has put forward how innovation and technological development are nowadays key in people's lives and in most of the economic sectors. It will thus be essential to make good use of the technological tool we have at our disposal and of ideas to foster economic development and accelerate the recovery of the tourism sector. Indeed, today we have joined here also to deepen these key points throughout the live session and also during the high-level roundtable that will be held after the presentation of the 10 finalist proposals with renowned experts from the sector who are going to debate and also share their vision on restoring market confidence and also building strong destination image, sharing the steps and strategies that we can take in order to support with the tourism recovery. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you a short video message from our Secretary General, Zurab Pololikashvili, as he addresses today's event.
Dear colleagues, welcome all this celebration of African tourism. As today's event makes clear, Africa is home to immense talent. Across the continent, new voices and new ideas are reimagining how we can and how we should travel. At the most challenging time our sector has ever faced, we need solutions that will restore confidence in travel. Only this way we can ensure that the many benefit tourism offer return as soon as possible. Looking to the future, we are also looking for the new ideas that can help make tourism more sustainable and more inclusive. Now is the time for big ideas and big ambitions. This is at the heart of the UNWTO Inspiration Africa Branding Challenge, and I'm pleased to see how today's finalists showcase the very best our sector has to offer. I offer my congratulations to all the finalists and I wish you an interesting and inspiring afternoon. Thank you.
Many thanks to our Secretary General. Especially for his constant and continuous commitment to support Africa and also for sharing with us the positive and optimistic perspectives on the future and the restart of tourism. As I mentioned earlier, this challenge would not have been possible without the support of a colleague from the innovation, education, and investment sector. And today I have our colleague from this department, Jose, who will share with us a short remark. Thank you. Jose?
Thank you very much for all of you to be here. On behalf of our Director of Innovation, Investments, and Education, Natalia Bayona, I would love to extend our congratulations to all the finalists, our great support and thank you to CNN, to all member states from the Africa region, and especially because this is a landmark. It is the first time that we make a challenge, not only focus on startups, but going through the destination marketing approach. In this regard, we stand out that definitely innovation, as we all know, is not only about technology. It can encourage new ways of doing destination marketing, of approaching the management of all our destinations in the Africa region and all over the world. Especially, I would like to stand out that innovation, education, investments, and sustainability are key factors for development, and we're working towards it. And this innovation challenge, Inspiration Africa Challenge, is a key message to the world that we are working hard to make all of the factors as the new normal. So thank you all all my best. And thank you very much, Elsia, for this great effort together.
Thank you, Jose. And as I mentioned, throughout this journey, we have worked with key professionals from the sector. And as I mentioned, CNN has played a critical role, and they have offered us their expertise to value all the applications we receive from the candidates, as well as with the selection of the most impactful campaign, which reached the finals today. So today, representing CNN is Kathy Ibal. She's the Senior Vice President at CNN International Commercial. She oversees advertising sales across the Europe, Middle East, Africa region with a vast and diverse portfolio, including long-standing clients spanning from the banking, finance, travel, and tourism and luxury sectors. She also manages a large international sales team alongside a network of regional reps who deliver large-scale and multi-market cross-platform campaigns. Therefore, I have the pleasure to invite Kathy for her intervention.
Thank you, Elsia. Thank you to His Excellency, the Secretary General of the UNWTO for those great words, and to Elsia Grandcourt, Regional Director of Africa, for hosting this event today. And of course, to all honorable ministers, colleagues, friends, for joining us today, all protocols observed. My name is Kathy Ibal, Senior Vice President for CNN International Commercial, and I'm very happy today to represent my company in this latest chapter of the long valued partnership with UNWTO. As a global organization, CNN has long worked with nations, institutions, and companies from travel and tourism sector. We all know that destinations are diverse, but each of them are unique in attributes and appeal. But what remains constant is the need for there to be a story, a very inspiring, unique, compelling stories that conveys the sense of place, its people, its culture, its landscape. We all know that 2020 has been intensively difficult, especially for travel industry. But when travel returns, and it will, we must all be ready to inspire people again to discover places new and old. That's why CNN is so happy to work with the UNWTO on this latest collaboration, the Africa Branding Challenge. This is an important moment for Africa to promote itself as a community and the individual countries within the continent to travelers within and outside Africa. It's time for Africa to stand up with pride, tell its story, inspire people to, in the words of the UNWTO, travel tomorrow. Take a moment to think about your last trip before the COVID. Mine is very special because my last trip was to Lagos. I really cherish this moment for several reasons. First of all, that was the last time I've seen some of my team members, but also we went to Nigeria to celebrate the 20 years of the longest running show on CNN inside Africa. I cannot wait to travel again, especially in Africa, where I have been so many times. So let us be inspired today. And I'm pleased to hand back to Elsia. I look forward to hearing more about the finalists who have inspired the jury with their creative ideas and concepts. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kathy. Indeed, media plays a very critical role, and I'm sure everybody tuning in today has somehow been watching CNN throughout their days. And once again, we really value the partnership, the collaboration that we've had with you and your team in making this challenge a reality. So moving on to another exciting part of today's session, which is the presentation of the top 10 finalists of this challenge. So since the launch of the Inspiration Africa Branding Challenge in the month of June, we have received almost 200 participation in applicants coming from Africa, as well as countries from all over the world. So we're very excited, and top international experts, specialists in the field of marketing, communication, and advertising responding to our call. So thank you. And obviously, after a very careful examination of the proposals submitted by the candidates, the jury of the competition, which consisted of experts, UNWTO, as well as CNN, have selected the 10 most impactful, innovative, and disruptive communication campaign to support the restart of tourism in Africa, and also to help us in pushing and spreading a positive narrative about the continent, as well as position it as a top destination in the minds of the future travelers. So we are now going to introduce you to the top 10 finalists who, through a 2-minute video, will present and showcase to us their proposals that they have submitted for this challenge. So we will open this presentation and pitching session with Africa Tourism Association, ATA, the leading global trade association promoting travel and tourism to Africa and strengthening intra-Africa partnerships. They are based in the USA, and their core mission is to promote the sustainable development of tourism to and across Africa. So let's see together their video, which is delivered by Naledi Kabo, CEO of the ATA, explaining the key points of their communication campaign, which is entitled, Africa, We Are One.
Hello, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm Naledi Kabo, representing the Africa Tourism Association team. We respectfully submit the Africa We Are One campaign for consideration in the UNWTO Inspiration Africa Challenge. Africa has been called many names: the motherland, the Garden of Eden, the Dark Continent. However, one universal truth remains: Africa is the heartbeat of humanity, and those of us from Africa know she speaks to your soul, yet the world has yet to awaken to her true power and potential. Now is the time for Africa to reclaim her story, cultivate her resources, and celebrate her heritage. The Africa We Are One campaign is founded on one simple belief: Africa has everything she needs to stand on her own. Our global team has invested in Africa for decades, and we will leverage our international network of professional allies to expand our messaging and commit to the core objectives of this campaign. While beautiful imagery inspires, people need real stories to connect on a deeper level. We will produce diverse content that positively shifts global perceptions and tells stories that celebrate and humanize Africa's peoples and cultures. We will collaborate with African creatives as well as African and global ambassadors to showcase Africa as a destination that offers rich opportunities for human connection and culturally transformative experiences in areas such as art, music and fashion, heritage and tradition, sustainability and innovation, and MICE. We will also place a strong focus on economic growth, youth empowerment, gender equality, and sustainability. Our digital platform will connect communities across the continent and provide travelers with resources to discover local stories and book future trips. We will empower local communities by facilitating essential programs for the youth and SMEs, led by local experts and entrepreneurs. Overall, our holistic approach will foster collaborative and sustainable opportunities across the supply chain, while giving travelers the tools to improve the places they visit. Our campaign will serve as a genuine reminder that regardless where you stand on this earth, Africa will always be home, and she is calling us all back into her arms. Together, we are one. We are Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa Tourism Association. Art Lebedev Studio is a global multidisciplinary design company based in Russia. They count on international and high-skilled team of professionals who create industrial and graphic design and tailored marketing and communication campaigns for a wide portfolio of international clients operating in various economic sectors. The communication campaign they build for our challenge is We Don't Know Africa.
Hi, I'm Artemy Lebedev, and I'm a designer at the largest design studio in Russia. I founded the studio 25 years ago. Today we employ 300 people and have a portfolio of over 4,000 projects for different industries around the world. When I'm not working, I love to travel. And I've been to Africa many times. It's a fascinating part of the world which most people don't know much about. On my travels, I've been to That's right, I've been to every single country in Africa. I know firsthand how special this continent is. So we are on a mission to open people's eyes to Africa as a tourist destination. To achieve this, we came up with a brand strategy called We Don't Know Africa. This strategy makes Africa a must-see destination. People may believe they know the continent, but that's not true. They don't know Africa. We can fight it. Our strategy makes it possible to do that through documentaries, multimedia websites, social media, mobile apps, augmented reality. Let's open the world's eyes to Africa.
Thank you, Art Lebedev Studio. Let's move on to the next finalist, Atrevia, who is a global communication and strategic positioning company headquartered in Spain, whose core mission is to put at the service of its customers the expertise of its international teams to build and tailor strong marketing and brand communications campaign. The communication campaign they outlined to restart tourism in Africa is called UNWTO, Africa Invites You to Live.
Hi. First of all, this is not just another tourism campaign. Yes, we'll see amazing landscapes, exotic islands, wild animals. We will discover unique local flavors and all the incredible African cliches. Because Africa is all that, but it's something more, and we need more to connect with the new generation of tourists. There is an African concept that represents exactly what people are looking for when they travel. Ubuntu. Africa invites you to live.
Means humanity and means acting in a way that is kind, that is humanitarian, and that involves listening.
In Ubuntu, there is no you, there is no me, there is only we.
Ubuntu allows us to make a difference in the world by helping those around.
Ubuntu.
A global movement initiated by Mandela that will now lead people to Africa. Because we are not looking to travel, we are looking to connect with the place and its people. For the first time, we will develop an online map of Africa based on visitors' emotions, capturing the human factor in tourism and leveraging the life experience that it offers. we will take this invitation from the African people to mass media channels, adapting the campaign to the uniqueness of each region. Ubuntu, Africa invites you to live.
Thank you, Atrevia. Beautiful Destinations is the next top finalist in the challenge. They are a full-service travel marketing and media company headquartered in the USA, and they partner with tourism boards and travel brands in order to create innovative contents, transforming destinations and driving economic development through the promotion of sustainable tourism. Their branding communication campaign for Africa is called "This is Africa, a New Way Forward."
Africa. The first thing that comes to mind is wild animals, vast landscapes, safaris, ancient tribes, and the cradle of humanity. But there is a huge disconnect with the real Africa. Africa is made up of many countries, cultures, and stories that have remained untold by Western popular culture. Many countries in Africa have positioned themselves to take bold measures on climate change, sustainability, as well as the evolution and promotion of its art scene. Africa is at the forefront of a boom in entrepreneurship, innovation, and a revolution in its economic power. These stories of success need to be consciously captured, told, and shared to foster a modern and refreshed view of Africa in the eyes of the rest of the world. This is Africa, a new way forward, is not just a slogan. It is a declaration. It is time that the rest of the world stops writing Africa's narrative and starts listening to the narrative Africans are writing for ourselves. Why do you travel to Africa? To see this story, the African story, as expressed the African way. This is Africa, a new way forward, is a proud declaration from us, the people of Africa. From now on, we are the ones setting the narrative. We welcome you here to see Africa through our eyes.
Thank you, Beautiful Destinations. Big Ambitions is a specialist content, communications, and marketing company located in South Africa, which particularly focuses its mission on association communications, as well as on the travel and tourism industry. So let's watch together the video they have realized to showcase their campaign entitled Africa UNWTO.
Africa UNWTO. In Africa, we have a long history of telling stories about our people, those who came before us, and the rich natural and cultural treasures we all know, love, and protect. These are everyday stories of how we are using our unique experiences and traditions to build vibrant and resilient tourism destinations. The Africa UNWTO campaign provides us with a platform to share these stories, which will inspire people around the world to start dreaming about their next visit to Africa. But this is just the beginning. We aim to become the leading Pan-African mark of origin and sustainability, sparking people's life all around the globe with a touch of Africa every day.
My name is Ali Jabe. I am a tour guide and live on the island of Zanzibar.
Through my YouTube channel, I share the experiences that I create for my tourists with the world. The Africa UNWTO campaign seeks to find and share stories like mine, so that the world gets to know and love our Africa through our people. These stories will be profiled on the Africa UNWTO website and social media platforms in the 5 languages that are widely spoken across the continent. These stories will be further amplified by strategic campaign partners onto the world. Our goal is to increase Africa's share of international arrivals and receipts to 10% by 2030. The Africa Year 2 campaign will contribute to achieving the targets of 6 Sustainable Development Goals. This will directly benefit our communities who live and work in tourism destinations throughout the 5 regions of Africa.
We invite you to join us on our exciting Africa Year 2 journey.
Thank you, Big Ambitions. Ladies and gentlemen, we're halfway through. We've got 5 more videos to view, and I'm sure you're enjoying the content that you've been seeing so far.
Africa.
We move to the next video, realized by the Creative Collective, a collective composed by professionals from Kenya and South Africa with high qualified skills and extensive experience in marketing, advertising, and design, which they use to answer the business and creative communication challenges of brands, causes, and organizations. Africa, the home of more, is their campaign for us.
The Creative Collective strategy has been guided by the belief that Africans owning and shaping the narrative about our homes will positively shift and expand global perceptions about the continent and position it as a world-class travel destination. We believe that going beyond the stereotypes about travel in Africa creates new opportunities for local tourism-related businesses and can stimulate the growth of the industry. We aim to showcase the diversity of Africa's tourism offering: luxury, wildlife, Epicurean delights, experiences of ancient histories and diverse cultures, dynamic city and nightlife. Africa has it all. Our solution to this challenge is designed to not only engage and entice international tourists, but also give exposure to local tourism businesses. The Through the Line campaign combines traditional and digital media. The above-the-line media takes the form of video content, and the below-the-line content takes the form of a mobile app. Cognizant of the fact that our international target audience are digitally savvy and many are online natives, the app is designed to showcase Africa's top travel destinations, but not just the ones everyone knows about. We want to expose tourists to destinations and experiences that are the best kept secrets of locals. Give travelers up-to-date information about COVID-19 in each country, and serve as a digital marketplace for local tourism-related businesses supporting the fulfillment of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We believe Africa has something for every type of traveler. Africa, the home of more.
Thank you, Creative Collective. The next campaign is coming from Oscar Abuko, art director, brand strategist, and copywriter currently based in Nairobi. He has worked for several advertising agencies and is a renowned expert with strong and extensive experience in the sector. He joined our call as a freelance and created a brand campaign with the title, "Don't take his word for it, go see it for yourself."
because it's a place that puts everything on.
Thank you, Oscar Abuko. The Grey Group is among the world's top advertising and marketing organizations headquartered in New York and with regional offices worldwide, including South Africa. It is actually the South African team of professionals who responded to the UNWTO Branding Challenge and submitted their branding campaign, Find Yourself in Africa.
For many people, this is Africa. And while lions and hyenas are spectacular, our continent offers so much more. A world of diversity. A rich tapestry of people, places, fauna, and flora. Whatever you're into, there's an abundance of experiences waiting to be discovered. Welcome to the exploration destination. And when you travel here, you'll not only discover more about Africa, but more about yourself. Normally, when you take a vacation, you take your baggage with you. But what if a holiday didn't just change where you are, but who you are? Not so much into someone new, but someone you used to be. Your inner child, full of curiosity and wonder. When you visit Africa, you not only discover a place the world forgot, but rediscover the self you barely remember. Fresh, new visceral experiences will reveal a better version of you. Find yourself truly living. Find yourself in Africa. Find yourself anywhere on the continent. Or find yourself in a single country. The motherland can't wait to welcome you home. Come find yourself. Find yourself in Africa.
Thank you to the Grey Group. The next proposal to brand Africa as an attractive and competitive destination comes from Mirabel Communications Limited, a London-based full-service international marketing and advertising agency who assists its clients to tailor strong communication campaigns which are aimed at delivering solid and impactful messages to national and international target audiences. The title of their campaign is Africa, Experience It All.
To select just one destination or experience in Africa would be impossible and led us to the Africa Experience It All campaign. We identified 3 compelling pillars to coherently bring the campaign together to showcase all that Africa has to offer. Each pillar closely aligns with our 3 identified audience profiles and will form part of our collaborative campaigns, fostering the opportunity for public-private sector partnerships. The Essence pillar will draw in the sustainable traveler with inspiration and tools as to why Africa is the perfect choice for nature lovers to experience some of the most spectacular and diverse landscapes. The Africa Travel product is perfectly aligned with sustainable travel, including adventure, culture, and heritage, as well as today's demand for lesser-known destinations and eco-luxury travel. With consumers, millennials especially, now looking for meaningful and authentic connections when they travel, the Africa Tourism product is aligned to these wants and desires. The Heart pillar showcases the continent through its colorful and vibrant festivals, tantalizing cuisine, multifaceted people, and cultural highlights. With many having roots in Africa, the Spirit Pillar draws in the roots traveler to engage with the continent's rich and diverse history, as well as to explore personal connections. The Africa Experience It All campaign takes a 360-degree, fully integrated approach, utilizing out-of-home, print, digital, social media, and partnerships alongside emerging digital and creative solutions to target the international traveler and the trade.
Thank you, Mirabel Communications Limited. We will close now this presentation with the finalist campaign that is presented jointly between Rainmaker Digital, social enterprise based in Namibia, focusing on digital transformation of the African hospitality and tourism with the aim of fostering the sustainable development of the sector across the continent, and Mark and Mutt, advertising agency located in Germany and specialized in marketing solutions, brand communication, and marketing. They joined their forces and participated in this challenge with a branding campaign entitled Tantalizing Africa.
Thank you for your kind invitation to share our thoughts and our passion for Africa with you. So, Tantalizing Africa. An impactful brand should transport this unique mystery touchment of your soul when visiting Africa. Because everyone says when they visit Africa, something changes in their life. It gets under your skin. It's personally, and it touches your soul if you go to Africa. And if you hear the vuvuzelas of the rugby play stadiums in South Africa and feel vibrant Africa at the Jama El Fna in Morocco. So you see 54 countries of Africa and all are unique. And in the end, the mystic thing is that Africa touches your soul. And key is to claim this emotional and selling proposition that sets Africa apart of that. For us, it's finally the wealth of Africa is the people of Africa that touches your soul. So let us please introduce you some things about the people of Africa.
Thank you to Rainmaker and Mark and Mutt. Ladies and gentlemen, you would definitely agree with me that these 10 videos has been very captivating, very impactful, and inspiring for sure. So thank you again to all our finalists for all the efforts that you have put, all the energy as well as the creativity and the engagement that they have put in building these amazing proposals to help boost tourism in our continent and also to highlight the great and unique potential of African tourism. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, one of the core topics of the UNWTO Agenda for Africa is advocating Brand Africa. And this is very central to our work, also very dear to our Secretary General. So we wanted to dedicate also a bit of time today to appreciate what some of the industry experts has to share with us on this topic. So before we announce you the winner of this challenge, I will invite you to listen in on the discussions whereby the experts will be sharing the vision on this topic of Brand Africa and also to restart the tourism sector. And to help us to set the tone of this little discussion, We will today invite Andy Stallman, CEO of Totem Branding, who will share with us a short presentation precisely on the topic of branding. Mr. Stallman is considered one of the world's leading brand experts. With more than 25 years of experience, he has developed projects on 5 continents, and his talent and charisma, as well as his work and influence in the world of brands, have led him to be known globally as Mr. Branding. He has a degree in international relations from the University of Belgrano and a BA in journalism from the Universidad Católica Argentina, both of Buenos Aires. He did advanced communication studies at the University of St. Joseph, Philadelphia, USA, and is specialized in marketing direction from the University of Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona. Mr. Stallman, you have the floor for your presentation. Mr. Stallman, you are connected? Yes? Okay, perfect.
Hello, can you see me and listen to me properly?
We can hear you, yes, thank you. And we can see your screen as well.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for the kind presentation, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here today with you. I'm very excited, and hello to everyone on the UNWTO team, CNN, and of course, the people of Africa. Yes, I'm going to share a little bit of the branding perspective and how it's influencing the world these days, and how we can create value through branding for the continent. One of the main things is that these days everything is changing so rapidly that we can choose to adapt to change or create change. And I'm certainly convinced that with the talent and the energy and the ambition that there is in Africa, we can create the change that is needed for a new, real human connection between tourism and people, between people and tourism, both within the continent and with the whole world itself. If we create better brands, we will create a better impact on society, and therefore we will create a better world. And everything is about how brands can contribute to create better societies and better world. And it's not just creating value through advertising or marketing or communication, but it's really impacting on people's life. That's why these days, everyone that is considering evolving its brand, reviewing its strategy, it's important to bear in mind that it's not key to be important, but to do things that matter, that really generate positive impact in the world. Many people may be asking themselves, what is a brand? Well, people may find in this answer the better definition I could share with you today. That is what people say, feel, think, and share about your destiny, your country, your city, your continent. So branding is so key that it's currently the main difference between being recognized or being or going unnoticed, and no one wants to go unnoticed in these incredible times to rethink, restart, and reinvent. And of course, there was this word, stories, repeated. Storytelling is not only what you want people to live, is what people really live and share about this immersive experience that you can only live by going somewhere and not through the screens. So the big questions most of the brands need to ask themselves these days is, what is your story? Not only the story you build until now, but the new chapter of the new story you want to build from now on. And always bearing in mind that branding is not a logotype. Branding is not a process. Branding is the soul of everything you do, how you feel it, how you think it, how you mention it, and above all, how you do it. Why it's important not to be unnoticed, and why is branding so relevant? Because in these current times, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And no brand that pretend or aspire to be relevant in this world can have the opportunity, or better said, the possibility of being irrelevant, because we are not anymore in an era of change. We are now living in a change of era, this new era where new tools, new ways, new mindsets are arising. And the more important, the more relevant, the more admired, the more powerful brands have become modern totems, where people gather around because they believe in their purpose, they believe in their values, they believe in their leadership. And the more we can humanize brands in Africa and in the world, we will certainly get a better sense of connection, pride, and belonging with everything you do and how you do it, because there is a big difference on knowing a brand and feeling a brand. What I'm saying this morning with all this emotion and this honor is not from a theoretical point of view. I run a company that develops branding projects across the 5 continents. And everything that I'm sharing with you today is the result of more than 30 years of expertise in all industries. So it's important to gain, once again, the human factor in the center of every single strategy. The more you can inspire and the more emotional you can be in a positive way, the better. Because while everyone is talking about technology, what people want is to be recognized and feel the love back from the brand. And the more important you make people feel, the more important the brand will be for those people. We are talking about social media, applications, technology. All of that is more than welcome. It can allow us to progress, to evolve, to contact, to know more and better, to personalize. But don't lose sight of what people are saying and what people are sharing. Instagram, for instance, that is probably the most relevant social tool for tourism to share these stories, these emotions, these experiences. You can see that on the top 3 spaces, the most shared emotion is love, love, and love. So the more you can connect emotionally with your audiences, the more opportunities to build big differences. Because at the end of the day, stronger, powerful, and successful brands are built on small details, because are these small details that bring the big difference between being recognized or being unnoticed. And of course, this is a time of incredible change, incredible speed, and incredible progress in technology. So it's not about the size of your country, it's not about the size of your city, region, or proposal. It's how you face the opportunities with an agile, open, and brave mindset. The more you can react to this process of extreme change with a broader mind and a clear human-centric strategy, the more you can evolve. Because at the end of the day, destinies are people, countries are people, business are people. And if you don't understand people, you do not understand what's next. You do not understand the future. So branding, it's about people. Stories are about people. And the change is focused extremely on what people not only say or feel, but mainly what people do. And also on top, the more social responsible and the more sustainable are the brands you deal, you build, or you transform, the more powerful your value proposition will become. Why should I care about this? Because people are caring about brands that care about people. And the more you care about people, the more people will react and pay attention to you, establishing this very strong difference between knowing a brand and loving a brand. Brands are operating both offline and online in a way that cannot be separated anymore. Off and on are part of the same world. Brands that are not creating value, exchanging communication, and building brands both off and on are going to be out. And as I was saying, there is a big, big disruption ahead. And you can see the big disruption ahead as a big problem or as a big opportunity. And I encourage everyone in Africa and in the world to embrace change with a new mindset of opportunities. We need more than customers, more than tourists, more than clients. What we need is believers, believers in the power of building a new way of doing things, a better way of doing things, a new and better way of creating and developing value together, everyone together, with this sense of understanding that the big difference between knowing a brand and loving a brand is the big difference between creating a behavior or creating a commitment. So briefly, before I end, I encourage you to be absolutely fearless. Look to fear into its eyes and dominate fear and provoke and create and generate change. I encourage you to facilitate people to live stories, immersive experiences, unforgettable stories, and then encourage them to tell stories. So more people will love to come and discover this amazing continent. And of course, very important, don't lose sight of what is relevant and what is important. Always stay focused on brand building, brand development, and brand value. The difference at the end of the day between who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow is not what you say, it's what you do. And the best way of talking is creating, developing, and doing great branding. Thank you so much, Africa. All the best, lots of hugs and blessings.
Thank you so much, Andy, for this very powerful presentation, which really has set the tone for our discussion. But just before I introduce the panelists, I want to recall and thank again the finalists, and just to let them know that through Voyage Afrique, which is a magazine focusing on all tourism aspects on the continent, Mr. Kojo Bentum Williams has been kind enough to interview and do a podcast with each of the 10 finalists. So I invite you to listen in on this podcast, because it will help you to know better also the finalists and their visions behind all the proposals that they shared. We've put the links in the chat. So for all of you who've tuned in and who've not had an opportunity to hear more, or who wants to know more about these proposals, you can get to know a little bit more perspective and the ideas they were coming from, as well as with Mr. Stallman as well. We conducted interviews, and also there's an article about all the finalists that joined in this challenge. So now we've set the tone for this little discussion on this very important topic. Allow me to introduce the panelists who will be joining the discussion. And I will start by introducing them. I have a dear friend here who's joining us, Mr. Kwachi Donkor, CEO Africa Tourism Partners. Kwachi is an experienced and renowned tourism expert in destination marketing, branding, and MICE. And Africa Tourism Partners is also an affiliate member of UNWTO. So welcome, Mr. Kwachi. We are also joined this afternoon by Mr. Pascal Virolo. He is the CEO of the Vanilla Islands organization. He holds a master's degree in management and strategy. And prior to his current position, he was heading the La Réunion Island Tourism Board. And since 2014, he has been leading the Vanilla Islands organization and concentrating a very big part of his work on cruise tourism, which is also a very critical sector, especially in this moment that we are going through. We are also joined this afternoon by Mr. Amin Yusuf, CEO of Afrobytes. He is the co-founder of Afrobytes, which is an international tech marketplace connecting business and technology leaders, founders, investors, as well as policy experts and media with the African tech industry. He has spent 20 years building digital platforms and operating digital marketing campaigns for a wide portfolio of clients, including big international companies. And he holds a master's degree in international trade from La Sorbonne. And lastly, another key partner, as I mentioned in the beginning, which was CNN, is represented here by John Malone, Global Creative Director of CNN Create. John is an experienced creative director with a demonstrated history of working in the creative and media industries. He manages an international team creating brand content and multi-platform campaigns for CNN vertical and global brands. So you all now been introduced to our panelists. I will kick off this session, which we want to make it interactive between these panelists. I will start with a question addressing to Mr. Kwachi. Having listened this morning and having seen all these impactful campaigns, videos that has been mounting, and also considering today the unstable environment that we are currently living in, how would you say we can create effective brand and marketing development plans for Africa? Kwachi?
Thank you, Elsia, and good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to say well done to all the finalists for the fantastic work that they've put together. That is a very pertinent question in these difficult times. How do we become effective in our brand effort, brand and marketing effort? I think we possibly have to start going back to the basics. And my belief is that we have to start discovering the purpose of each and every destination brand that we have in Africa. The good thing is Africa is multifaceted, yet each and every country is unique. So for me, I've got what I call some question we got to answer, and I call it the golden circle. And the golden circle is, why does the brand exist? And how can the brand differentiate itself from other brands that exist, yet resonate with the right audience? And the final one in the circle is, what should the brand do to stay relevant and appropriate in these current times? In order to achieve this and to make the brand effective, I believe that every brand should possibly drill down to what we all talk about, the DNA of the brand, identify what actually makes that brand. So if we are talking of a particular country or a particular product across the tourism and hospitality and travel value chain, that brand DNA has to be clear, it got to be distinctive, and it got to be unique. Because like human beings, like people, even twins are very unique in their own ways. And that is something that I think as African destinations and African brand, we should start drilling down to identify what makes us unique. Sometimes everyone is talking about we have got culture. Everyone is talking about we got heritage. Everyone is talking about we got wildlife. But there are still uniqueness at each and every level in every destination. And I think destinations and ourselves as marketing experts and brand experts should start drilling down to these core values, core identities, this uniqueness, and try and present them in a way that will appeal and resonate to the target audience that we would like to engage and sell our brands to. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwachi. I would keep in line with the same question and probably ask Pascal to give us his perspective, how he sees that brand and marketing experts can stimulate the competitive advantages when promoting Africa as a tourism destination, and bearing in mind what Kwachi just said to us, the uniqueness of Africa and the key unique selling points that we have on offer today. Pascal?
Yeah, thank you to give me the floor. I think that the today's competitors have already answered to this question. But for this, I'll maybe focus more on the conditions. If you are stimulating the competitive advantages, it means that you are stimulating the offer, the product, but you have to stimulate the right ones. That's just what Mr. Donko said. You have to stimulate the best one, the one that are unique. But what is difficult here is that we are talking on the continent level, and you have so many of them that we have to make a choice. So this is one of the first condition that I think that we have to work on, is that we have to make sure that all the stakeholders agree on something that we have in common, and that is a competitive advantage. at the continent level. And if we do this, we can also work afterward on the targets, on the demand. So that's the first part. The second one is that we have to make people understand that this branding, it's a process. It's not a one shot. The challenge of today, the challenge of the Africa branding is a process in its own. In my vision, a brand is a living animal. It's a living being. It has its own identity, its personality, maybe its name, culture, vision. Mr. Stallman said that we have to humanize the brand. So that's it. It's a living being. And all these characteristics are perceived by the customers, by the tourists, and by the way they perceive it, by the way of their own individual filters. As I said previously, it's, for me, a living animal. So as it is living, we need to take care of it continuously to keep the brand relevant, to keep the brand relevant to the targets. It's not a one shot, it's a process. And then, as we know that it's a process, we know that we made some choices, we have to apply the choices. It means that we have to engage the stakeholders, the local community. It's not only an advertising campaign. I would just take one slogan that I had today. I think it was from the first competitor. It's "We are one." We have to sing of this. We are one. So it means the locals, the stakeholders, and of course the tourists on the exterior.
Thank you, Pascal. And indeed, as you mentioned, Andy did indeed mention about people also at the center of all that we do, because this is a sector where we interact a lot with people and we touch a lot on the different senses. And I think in the campaigns we've seen also a lot of that has been used throughout. But this brings me to another aspect of all that we are doing in the tourism space, related a little bit more to investment. So I will address Mr. Amin in this question, especially now that we are in these very uncertain times. Which arguments are being used, according to you, in order to help not just restore confidence for the travelers to visit the destinations, but also to tourism investors to keep in mind that, yes, the sector is now in this situation, we will need to rebuild together, and what about the investment?
Hi, thank you first for inviting me. Thank you for UNWTO team and CNN to create this space of conversation. That's really great. The projects, the 10 projects are just unbelievable. It gives me the will to just go to my airport right now and go to Africa, because I really miss Africa since the COVID-19 started. Okay, so in terms of messages, those messages are great. Okay, but now beyond the messages, we have to have concrete actions. Okay, what really matters for people right now? We know that one of the key things to travel is security. Okay, so security is very important. So we have to first say and reaffirm that we did well with the COVID-19. We did well with the COVID-19. And because we did well with the COVID-19, and everyone knows that, we can say that if we did well with COVID-19, you know that we are dealing well with other diseases. So this argument of not going in Africa because of security health, it's not there. And we have proved it with a global pandemic, first thing. The second thing is that, for sure, we have to engage more conversations with professionals in security. We have to say to the world that we are leading the conversation. We are leading the conversation with actors of identification, global players like, also the GAFA, anyone that could bring a reinsurance on this specific question of security. The second thing is the competitivity. All the time I hear people say, oh, going in Africa is expensive. Okay, yeah, flights are expensive, but hosting costs are very competitive. You know, when you go in Kenya and you have like organic food for 1 month, it just, you know, if you go to get organic food here in Paris, it's super expensive. Or in any other places when you do tourism, for example, in Europe, or it's very expensive. But when you go in Africa, yes, the plane ticket is expensive, but after it's not expensive. So we don't communicate so much about these aspects that, okay, look at the global price of your stay in Africa. The last thing, which is very important for me, is to understand what are the aspirations of people right now. With the COVID-19, and I can tell because for us, we are all remote. We are living now in a remote era. That means that we have remote workers. I want to highlight this initiative done by the Barbados. The Barbados has launched a visa recently about how remote workers, you are welcome to come in Barbados and stay here. I think it's very smart. Very smart. First, because I hope that, and I know at least one person who has done that. He's living there, okay? He has left UK to go there. So it works. And even for the communication aspect of that, I think it's interesting because one key thing I always ask myself when I book an hotel, it's not about the size of the bed. It's not about, do you have a pool or not? Do you have Wi-Fi? I need the Wi-Fi. Do we have connectivity? Because otherwise, if I don't have the connectivity, you can bring me the food, the pool, everything, I won't come. So we have to make sure that in this era where we have those remote workers, and even when you go on holiday, it's not that, okay, you have your laptop with you, you know that, okay, you will go with the kids in the afternoon, you will go to the swimming pool, but you will need those 2 hours to keep on doing your work, okay? And I think that one of the transformation we have to engage is to reassure on those things and say that we understand what people want now. They are working remotely. Maybe we can tell them, oh, okay, instead of staying 1 week, you can stay 2 weeks because we have everything you need to keep on working. That's a few things beyond the message of Africa is great, it's beautiful, and I think that all the campaign says that. After we have to give the genuine proofs that we are engaging the transformation of travel in Africa.
Yes, indeed, we've highlighted and we've seen also in the campaigns, technology has taken over today, and it's very essential. And I think this has got everybody thinking at how best can we captivate our market, how best can we continue to attract people to come and stay with us. As you gave the example, you can work from anywhere nowadays as long as you are very well connected and you have the appropriate tools. So I think, yeah, very important point. But if we move also to communications, media, John, what can you tell us, especially CNN, as I mentioned in the beginning, is really a powerful media house, which I believe everybody, you touch everyone on this on the continent, even beyond. You've got, I think, about 5 different programs about Africa. So what role do you see CNN and the media in general can play in promoting and positioning Africa as a top destination in the minds of travelers?
Thank you. And first, let me say thank you for having me, and thank you to all the finalists who have submitted such brave and powerful work. A brand like CNN has been built over time, and I think great brands are built over time. CNN's been around for 40 years, and it's been built on its pillars of dedication to truth and authenticity and storytelling. This required long-term planning, strategies, and objectives. And it's no different for nation brands and destinations. So it's really important that brands are promoted in the right environment and to the right audience and with the right message. So CNN can offer those things, and I think we'll look at them in turn. First, if you think about the environment CNN offers, we've had a really long commitment to covering Africa through news, but also through features programming and the area where I spend most of my time and effort in the branded space, where we work closely with destinations, travel companies, and tourism boards to reach our audience. So when people come to CNN, they expect to see content about Africa. In our features programming, for example, you mentioned our shows, African Voices, Marketplace Africa, Inside Africa, which has been running for over 20 years, and Kathy commented on that in her brilliant introduction. It's the longest running feature show on CNN. So these shows are going beyond the news to really showcase the continent's culture, the innovation, and the places, the businesses, but at its core, it's the people. That's the most important thing. And secondly, on the audience, I think brands should be playing to their strengths and communicating these to their customers more than ever. CNN Commercial, where I work, exists under an audience-first strategy. Excuse me. We work with our brand partners to create campaigns and tell stories that engage with our audience, and we do that by looking at our audience as people, and we know what they're interested in. We know where they consume content, when they consume content, and what kind of content they like. We reach 50% of the world's frequent travelers. That's about 112 million people per month, using our digital, social, and linear platforms to tell those stories. Powerful, authentic human stories. And that's not something that any other international news brand can come close to touching. But really, most importantly, and for me, it's about the message. We've used an approach of combining data and creativity to engage with audiences throughout the pandemic in new ways. We've helped brands pivot their message. Often, the playing field shifts quickly, and we need to guide brands through that. And we've been working with our partners on different messages appropriate for this particular time period. A great example is how we worked with UNWTO to launch Travel Tomorrow to CNN audiences to really get travelers dreaming. And I think now we're in a position to help African brands and destinations pivot that message towards fulfilling that dream of travel by speaking authentically, telling true African stories about specific destinations to a global audience of really interested travelers. So as a publisher, we have a role to play to get the message out through storytelling, that Africa has responded to the pandemic, is adapting and being resilient to the new reality, and is prepared to offer travelers unique experiences that they crave.
Indeed. I'm so happy to hear all the key points that you mentioned. Again, it's related to what has been in the presentation previously and what the others shared: storytelling, putting people at the center of it all. And really nowadays we can see everybody owns an iPhone, or they are on social media and tweeting and showing all the places they're visiting. So really, beyond just the big media houses, I think we all have a part to play in helping to promote the positive stories. And today we have seen with these 10 finalists what they've put together in this period of time. It really hits home in regards to what we're talking about. Just maybe to shift a little bit, because we're also talking about tourism recovery, especially now that we are in this situation of COVID. I will go back to you, Pascal. The Vanilla Islands Association obviously groups a number of islands that today tourism is one of the important pillars to their economy, creating jobs and also contributing to the national GDPs. And now that we are going through these very turbulent times, how do you see these islands, or even beyond, repositioning themselves? Does domestic tourism or regional tourism has a role to play to help recover the sector? And if so, what is your perspective on this for the medium and the short term, whilst we still work on consolidating the important markets that has been for the years traveling to Africa?
Well, for the Vanilla Islands, so it means that's the grouping of the islands of Indian Ocean: Reunion, Mauritius, Madagascar, Mayotte, Comoros, and the Seychelles. For us, but not only for us, I mean for worldwide, this domestic and regional tourism is crucial. Just to give you an idea, yesterday I attended one webinar with Expedia, and they said that the research from the people that want to go for a vacation, so for their research, 76% of the researches were done on domestic travel. So it was done on their platform, on Expedia, but that's a trend. So if 76% of the research are done on domestic and regional tourism, it means that we have to be on it. And if we are not on it, it means that the recovery will be slower than what we are expecting. So for the islands, we have to work together more than before. But for Africa as well, we have to focus on the neighborhood. We have to focus on Africa itself. We talk for a long time now to work together. I mean, I won't say that now it's the time. We have to do it. If we want to recover fast, we have to work together.
Indeed, because we have to continue to look at alternatives, but also there are the market segments, as you said, that we need to consolidate, that probably before we were not putting that much attention on, but now I think everybody is rethinking along these lines. So thank you, Pascal. And Amin, I know you did mention, especially for you, in regards to the role of technology in our world today, in what we're all calling the new normal. It's very central. Everybody's looking for new ways of conducting their business. Even today, to put together this session with all the finalists, we had to look at the right appropriate way to ensure that we can really reach and put the message out there. So what role do you think technology can play in the recovery of the tourism industry in Africa, in order to requalify today what we are going through, especially when we talk about creative and innovative experiences for future travelers?
Thank you. I think that the first thing, and we have seen with what John has said and what all those creative campaigns showed, that we have a mix now between the message and the technology. Both goes together. And I'm sure one thing is that people never buy a product, they always buy a story. Okay, and what we can see is that now we have all the tools with Instagram, social media, blah, blah, blah. We have the tools to really spread those messages with big channels like CNN, but also the good mix with the technology. So that's definitely something which is very important. First, how we communicate, okay? You said that many Africans now, they have a mobile phone. We have millions of community managers in Africa. They know, those guys, they know how to use WhatsApp. You see them on all social media. And we can see that, for example, the African culture, when we see, for example, the music, it goes through those channels. And now we have African music, which is #1 in the chart in the US. So we can have Africa as a #1, as a tourist destination. That's possible. We just have to work on it, work on the message, and use the right tools. After, there is something very important, is that we are in the innovation space. Okay, how can we engage all innovators in the continent, the startups, to reinforce the image of tourism in Africa? But before, I would say, inventing new things, we have to use properly what is existing. That means that how now the tourism sector is operating its digital transformation. First, it starts by hiring new people, data scientists, the community managers. You know, that's different profiles. The second thing is how, with existing people, we can do the professional training so they get the skills to, for example, you have a customer coming at your hotel. How do you engage with this customer after? How do you keep the conversation alive with him? You know, that's possible. in terms of digital transformation, just not to be long, but we know that what is happening in Africa in various sectors, for example, health. Health is always something that you care about when you travel. But now in health, we have made a lot of progress thanks to technology. For example, you can have remote consultation. Okay, there's a problem, don't worry. We have the doctors here, but if you really need to talk to your doctor, it is possible because we have the connectivity. We can talk about food tech, how we can deliver everything. There are tons of things that we can operate, but I think that now it's time for the tourism sector to engage a conversation with the technology sector. Because we know, and I will finish by this, that the new players in the tourism sectors now are those big companies. I'm talking here about those platforms, okay? It's technological actors. So we shouldn't stay away from technology because they are here. So, we are talking about Expedia, the digital transformation, but also all those Airbnb companies, etc., etc. So it's very important to really embrace technology for the digital transformation of the sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Amin. And I cannot agree more with you because we see nowadays everything, we have technology at the center of it, as was mentioned by all the other panelists as well. And definitely, this is also an area that UNWTO, as you have seen over the past 2 years, we've been putting a lot of attention. That is why we keep on organizing or bringing together all the different challenges, all the different startups, giving them the opportunity, especially in the tourism sector, to look at ways of how we can do better already what we are doing. I will, before going back to Kwachi, maybe in the same line, I will go back again to John, because you did mention at one point in your earlier intervention about the Travel Tomorrow campaign that CNN mounted together with UNWTO. That was very powerful at the beginning because we had the pandemic, everybody was thinking what's going on, how do we still keep the destination in the minds of travelers, but always keeping in mind that we need to be safe. So the campaign was launched. So can you tell us or elaborate a little bit more what the media can contribute in helping to restore this confidence that is so much needed, especially in this time of COVID now? The role that media can play is very critical, as we saw with that campaign, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. I think it comes back to putting travelers first and being upfront and honest with travelers about how countries and destinations are dealing with the pandemic, and then telling strong, emotional Pan-African stories to potential travelers that entice them and make them want to learn more and make them want to make those journeys when it's possible. We know travelers have been dreaming of travel for months now, and they're spoiled for choice in terms of when they want to start traveling again, when that's possible. They expect transparency. I think that's across not just travel and tourism, but all consumers are expecting more from brands, and they're expecting transparency and they're craving authenticity. So we know what engages audiences is emotional storytelling, and a Nielsen study tells us that gets 63% higher engagement than traditional advertising. And I think we've talked about that a lot today. Storytelling cuts through, and it creates those emotional moments that people remember. And it's something that CNN does very well. So this is how we reach potential travelers to Africa, by knowing them as people, treating them as people, speaking to them authentically and passionately, using real African stories to make a connection and cut through the superficial. I think that's the goal. And I just wanted to sort of end on a personal note. I had traveled to Africa planned that was completely sidelined. I had a 50th birthday party. My son's godfather is there. Friends of mine had babies. Babies are being born. People that are older can't travel to meet us. So for me, it's top of my list when I can put my wife and child on a plane and come back. And I want to tell those stories. I feel that my son's story is incomplete. So I want to complete his story.
Totally, thank you. That's very, very emotional and inspiring as well. I believe everybody is now thinking of the next trip that they will take, and Africa for sure will be on the top of minds of many people. And this is what we want to achieve with these campaigns, with these challenges, putting it out there so that we still keep thinking of these beautiful destinations, what we can experience and what we can taste, feel, all the senses coming alive, as you did mention in your intervention. We don't have much time. Of course, everybody now is still waiting to know who is the finalist. So Kwachi, before we get to that step, maybe a last word from you about the additional efforts and steps that stakeholders of the tourism, both in the public and the private sector, working in the tourism sector in Africa, especially. I know also your company, you work very closely with CEOs of tourism boards and various stakeholders. What can we do? What else can we do to really build that strong destination image of the continent, taking into account what the colleagues have shared today? Can you tell us your perspective? Kwachi, I think you have to put your mic on.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for that. I'm saying that my colleague panelists have mentioned a lot of pertinent issues, and I like the issue on technology and digitalization because it's critical. But in spite of everything that we've said, there is one key thing that we need to do, and a lot of people have heard me saying it many times, and it's basically when you go with a group of people, you go very far, and when you go on your own, you go very fast, but you don't go very far. It all comes to the point of collaboration, working together as a team. And the good news is through our platforms and our interaction with the CEOs, they've agreed to work together, basically mainstreaming what we call the Africa Tourism Leadership Forum and the CEOs Forum, which UNWTO through the Africa Department have been very supportive of. So we feel that that collaboration needs to be mainstreamed, it needs to be strengthened for them to work together. Why is that necessary? It's necessary because it creates the platforms and the opportunity for us to share ideas, for us to learn from each other, for us to cooperate rather than competing against each other. And we believe that through strong collaboration and partnership networks, we will be able to build the confidence that we need and take the brand Africa forward. So to finish, I think that is the way we like to proceed on going into the approach of building market confidence and obviously working with you. And I'm sure that next week event, Africa Tourism Leadership Forum, which UNWTO has got a session on, with looking at how to build a confidence and how to build a brand, and working together will possibly be one of the major steps for the way forward. On this note, I would like to say thank you, and I invite each and everyone on the continent to work with us, to work with the CEOs, UNWTO Africa Department to make this happen. With CNN, obviously, to take everything we have to the marketplace and tell them what we are saying about Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kwachi. Yes, indeed, we are also very grateful for the support that you give in pushing this agenda forward, because as you rightly said, we need to work together, and especially more so we are seeing now from the very top, our Secretary General has been leading by example through the Global Crisis Committee. He's been bringing all the key stakeholders across the table. In fact, next week, they will be meeting again, still looking at the next steps of what we can do now that we say we're reopening the borders. How do we do it safely? But beyond what is waiting for us, because we all know the experts have said that the recovery of the sector will take a while, two even up to 4 years. So I think we've had some very, very interesting points. Though the time has been short, we remained touching on the key highlights. but I've taken note of some very strong points and reflections that we've shared. And the key takeaways includes greater collaboration, as you mentioned, networking, and putting technology at the center of everything that we do, continuing to adhere to the protocols, especially the health protocols when we open the borders as well, and encouraging the role of the media, getting everybody around the table, and especially the finalists with us today. We cannot finish thanking you and appreciating the work that you've done. So once again, immense thank you to all my panelists this afternoon. Appreciation for the contents and the ideas that you have shared. And I am sure everybody listening in today has got them thinking a little bit deeper about this topic, what we can do to work together to continue to keep Africa at the top of minds of people. So once again, thank you to my panelists, Kwachi, Pascal, Amin, John, but don't go away, stay with us, because now we're definitely moving to the most exciting part of this session. And maybe before we go to announce the winner, let me ask everybody to put their cameras on, including the finalists, so that we can have a nice group picture. And then we can go to the highlight of the matter today for the announcement of the winner. So can we have everybody's camera on, please? Tijana, let me know when we're done. All the finalists, can we have your cameras on, please?
All set, Elsia. Thank you.
Okay, good.
One big smile, everyone, for the group photo. Thank you.
All right, Tijana, we are good?
Yeah, all set. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you once again to all of you who has intervened throughout this session since we started, we kicked off. Now we will go to announcing the finalists of this challenge. And for this, I have the pleasure to invite my colleague, Natalia Bayona, if you've managed to join us, to please inform us about the jury's final decision and also to declare the winner of the competition. Natalia?
My dear Elsia, I'm here, but I don't know what is happening, but I cannot start my video camera. So if our team behind the scenes can help me. So it's my pleasure to be here with you today. And of course, sorry that I couldn't make it in the morning, but I was with the SG jumping around on our education and innovation strategy. So of course, I was delighted listening to the last panel. I was here and of course, more than ever, I have the commitment that innovation and sustainability have to be, of course, our new normal. And of course, as you said, Elsia, innovation is not only about technological approaches, is a way of changing and on reflecting how we can change the positioning of a region, and of course bringing added value through marketing and communications, and to add value and to empower youth in a better way. So of course, I have to congratulate to all the finalists, because to me, everyone is a winner for these impactful campaigns, because we have been looking very picky as part of the jury, because what we have to talk today is that, of course, there was respect for the local culture, of course, including the ecosystem, but of course, using technology as the main driver of creating different ways of developing communications to empower more Africa as a tourist destination. We have seen artificial intelligence solutions, augmented reality solutions, and I have to say that half of these solutions came from Africa, and that's good because normally when you are trying to bring or to solve some problem, of course, the regional or the nationals are the ones that are taking care of that problem. In this case, we received from all around the world solutions based on tourism in Africa, and of course to landmark Africa for good. So this inspiration challenge, as you know, was launched in June and has demonstrated that we are all eager to transform the way in which we will travel soon. Over 150 applications were carefully screened by our technical teams, and afterward, our expert committee evaluate in a very picky and in a very detailed way all the proposals. So I would like to thank to the jury, that was of course our CNN team, Anita Mendirata as our special advisor for SD, of course the UNWTO, to Elsia as the head leading all the Africa strategy, of course my team from the innovation department, and Sandra from competitiveness and market trends department, and of course our communications department, because without them we were not here today. And now, of course, it's an honor to announce the winner of this program that will be developing with us, with the UNWTO communications team, the next social media campaign in order to strengthen more everything related to inspire travelers to come to Africa. So with that said, the winner today is UNWTO, Africa Invites You to Live by Atrevia, Spain. I would like to invite you once again to give a warm digital applause to Atrevia for this nice job, and of course to see this video where it covers all the strategy that they are developing and that we will develop together in order to restart tourism in Africa again. Thanks a ton to everyone. And of course, count on the UNWTO team to make tourism more innovative, sustainable, and inclusive sector. Thank you.
Hi. First of all, this is not just another tourism campaign. Yes, we'll see amazing landscapes, exotic islands, wild animals. We will discover unique local flavors and all the incredible African cliches. Because Africa is all that, but it's something more, and we need more to connect with the new generation of tourists. There is an African concept that represents exactly what people are looking for when they travel. Ubuntu. Africa invites you to live.
Means humanity and means acting in a way that is kind, that is humanitarian, and that involves listening.
In Ubuntu, there is no you, there is no me, there is only we.
UNWTO allows us to make a difference in the world by helping those around.
Ubuntu.
A global movement initiated by Mandela that will now lead people to Africa. Because we are not looking to travel, we are looking to connect with the place and its people. For the first time, we will develop an online map of Africa based on visitors' emotions, capturing the human factor in tourism and leveraging the life experience that it offers. We will take this invitation from the African people to mass media channels, adapting the campaign to the uniqueness of each region. Ubuntu. Africa invites you to live.
Thank you. Immense congratulations to you all, to Atrevia for this successful confirmation. But as Natalia said, we are all winners in this challenge. We saw some excellent and impactful videos. Let me recall the finalist that was here with us today. Apart from Atrevia, we had Africa Tourism Association, we had Art Lebedev Studio, Beautiful Destinations, Big Ambitions, Creative Collective, Oscar Abuko, Grey Group, Mirabel Communications Limited, Rainmaker, and Markenmut. Thank you all for your support. Obviously, we will be working very close with Atrevia, as Natalia mentioned, but also all the finalists. We will continue to be working with you, to be in touch with you, to expose any possibilities that we have, as we've done with all our past startup competitions. And the final word from us is, once again, thank you for joining us. And the next step, as Natalia mentioned, we will be very soon launching a social media campaign, #MyAfrica, telling the positive stories. As we've heard the panelists also mentioned, it's all about the emotional, strong storytelling that we can tell about our destination, about our continent, Africa. So once again, thank you for all for participating. And until we meet the next time, thank you. Thank you to all my team, as well as Natalia's team, the team behind Tijana from the UNWTO Academy, all the panelists, CNN, once again, we appreciate the support, as well as all of you who connected this afternoon to go through this journey with us. Thank you and goodbye.